In this lesson, you'll learn the basic design principles to work effectively for social media. The social media landscape is ever-changing. We have new platforms like Clubhouse, we have TikTok that's on the rise, and we started off with platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. For example, Instagram, we used to use that as just a gallery for photographs, and now we're using it for Reels, we're using it for stories, and we're also using it to upload videos constantly. And you can even do it live. You can actually live stream from your pocket phone, which is crazy. So I'm just going to take you through the top line of a couple of the platforms that I use when I develop my social media designs and I work with like my playbooks or any designs that I do. One of the ones that I'm going to use today is Hootsuite, and they've got a really handy website that has every single size for profile pictures, for Instagram feed posts, for Facebook, everything that you can find on there. So it might be a bit daunting, but it is really helpful. So if you look at this, you've got all the different sizes. We've got Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn there as well. So we've got Instagram image sizes there. So the most important thing is kind of your feed photos. So you've got landscape, portrait, and square. Now these might be updated by the time that you use this course. So just reference back and see what your cheat sheet is giving you. But it hasn't changed for a while, which is quite good. Stories, carousels, reels, and ads, but always check what the correct spec is for what you're designing for. Another one is Twitter. Twitter is generally a platform where people use conversation to actually engage with other people. So you might not be designing so many beautifully designed assets for Twitter. It might just be a case of you're linking out to another blog, or you're linking out to a video, or you're adding something from YouTube on there. I generally don't design so much in Twitter because it's more about the conversation going on. But you can see we've got profile header, in-stream photos, and then you can also do ads as well. Another platform would be Facebook. So Facebook used to be a platform where you would put all your holiday photos up there and engage with people, but now it's actually seen more as businesses have Facebook groups on there and you can join them and you can actually chat about things. Like one of my clients actually has one about all of their fans, and they have their fans in one group and they chat to each other. So again, it might be a case of linking photos or linking videos into there. And then some of the content you can actually borrow from Instagram because of the same company now. So Meta kind of owns Instagram and Facebook. So the great thing is you can repurpose content really easily. And then we've got another one down here, LinkedIn, but I'm not going to touch on that because that's more for promoting yourself on LinkedIn and jobs. One thing to keep in mind on social media is brand consistency. If you have a brand that is on multiple platforms, say you've got one on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook, you need to make sure that your brand is consistent across these platforms. A really great example that I'm going to use is Refinery29. So if you look at Refinery29 on their Instagram, their Twitter, their Facebook, and even their TikTok, they use the same logo, so you can tell what brand that is across every platform. You want it to be seamless. You want to be able to jump from Instagram to TikTok and know exactly what you're watching and who you're following. So for example, if you look at Refinery29's Twitter, you can see they've got the branding, they've got the header image, they've got everything in there. They tell you what they do, and it's a lot of articles that they've shared from their platform, and you can engage in, retweet, or you can follow and you can find out more information. There we go. So there's not actually that many designed assets there. I think Twitter is not really the place for that. It's more about having quick and easy conversation. If you look at Facebook, again, they've got the really nice branding there. They've got header image, which is slightly different because it will probably fit their community, but that's fine. And then again, they've went in and they're sharing articles. There's not many designed assets on here as well, but yeah, loads of assets there. So when we look at Instagram for Refinery29, they use a lot more designed assets. And there's a few things that you need to keep in mind when you are designing for Instagram and also Facebook, because they kind of have the same UI at some points. So when we look at Refinery29, we've got some really nice designed assets. So this one here for Euphoria, we've got this here, which is kind of the tag icon. So if you're ever designing for something, you don't want to have anything here, because what will happen is you'll get this little icon over your lovely graphics or type. So just keep type away from there. And you can see, you can go through, there's another one here, and there's another tag icon. So just be very wary when you're designing that you don't have graphics in the bottom left corner. And another thing to be wary of is when you use Instagram stories. Instagram stories are a great way to engage with your community, and you can use the stamps and you can use the stickers and you can use the different tools in there like sliders, polls. You can even use a link sticker now, which is great. But when you actually use it, you have to make sure that you're not going into the safe zones. So Refinery29 have done a really great job here, because here you have your icon and you have your title. So you can't design here, and you also can't design here because the safe zones will not allow the people to actually engage with the platform. People send messages here, they send it to their friends. You don't want anything here, and you don't want anything here, and you want your main content to be here. As we can see here, Refinery29 has used a lot of the tools. So here is like a poll, and here is also a slider. So you want to be able to make sure that people can use those icons and those tools as much as possible. Don't make them very small. It doesn't make sense. When it comes to social media, we all have it in our pockets. So we might be accessing this on the train, in the office, when you're not supposed to. It could be at home on the sofa, or it could be in the toilet. That happens. People do that. Shh. But what we want to keep in mind is people's attention spans are so short. So every time that you're going to design a piece of content, you have to get the message across straight away. If you're doing any video content, the first 3 seconds are key. Keep this in mind when you're designing anything. The first 3 seconds are the seconds that are going to capture your audience and make them watch for the rest of the content. Now that you know the fundamental design principles of each platform, we'll explore how to use the native tools of each of them to create content.